Title: The Cave of Shadows. Once upon a time, in a distant land, there was a deep, dark cave where a group of people lived their entire lives. These people had been imprisoned in the cave since birth. They were chained in such a way that they could only face the back wall of the cave. Behind them was a blazing fire, and between the fire and the prisoners was a raised walkway. On this walkway, people would pass by carrying various objects, and the fire cast shadows of these objects on the wall in front of the prisoners. The prisoners had never seen the actual objects or the world outside the cave. All they knew were the shadows on the wall. Since they had no other frame of reference, they believed that these shadows were the only reality. They talked about the shadows and argued about their shapes and meanings, thinking that this shadowy world was all there was. One day, something extraordinary happened. One of the prisoners, whom we'll call Aiden, was accidentally freed from his chains. At first, Aiden was disoriented and confused. The sunlight outside the cave was so bright that he could barely see anything. He stumbled and shielded his eyes, but as he gradually adjusted to the light, he began to see the world as it truly was. He saw lush green trees, vibrant flowers, and animals of all shapes and sizes. He marveled at the colors and textures he had never imagined. Aiden was amazed by the beauty and complexity of the world outside the cave. He realized that the shadows on the wall were merely illusions, mere reflections of the true reality. Overwhelmed with excitement and a sense of purpose, Aiden hurried back to the cave to share his discovery with the other prisoners. He wanted them to experience the same wonder he had found. When he returned, he found it difficult to even get their attention. They were so accustomed to their shadowy world that they barely noticed his arrival. Aiden tried to describe the sun, the trees, and the colorful landscape, but his words seemed foreign and meaningless to the prisoners. They couldn't understand how shadows could be mere reflections of something greater. To them, the shadows were real and the only reality they had ever known. Some of the prisoners laughed at Aiden, thinking he was mad or delusional. Others were angry and frightened by his claims, fearing that if they accepted his story, their entire understanding of reality would collapse. They were comfortable in their ignorance and preferred to remain in the safety of their familiar shadows. Despite their reactions, Aiden remained determined. He kept trying to explain and show them the truth. But the deeper he delved into his explanations, the more resistant they became. They were trapped in their own perceptions, unable or unwilling to imagine a world beyond the shadows. Over time, Aiden realized that change was not something that could be forced. He understood that each prisoner needed to find their own way out of the cave, at their own pace, if they were to truly grasp the reality beyond the shadows. He hoped that one day they would be ready to step into the light and see the world as it truly was. Aiden continued to visit the cave, sharing glimpses of the world outside and planting seeds of curiosity. He knew that enlightenment was a gradual process and that sometimes the journey from darkness to light was a path each person had to walk on their own. Moral of the story. The story teaches us that our understanding of reality is often limited by our experiences and perceptions. Sometimes, stepping out of our comfort zones and embracing new perspectives requires courage and patience. True knowledge comes from questioning our assumptions and being open to discovering deeper truths about ourselves and the world around us.